Welcome back to Orange Hat Reviews, everyone. Hope you're all having a wonderful day. So, the creator of Sons of Anarchy, Kurt Sutter, has actually weighed in on the Alec Baldwin Rust set shooting. And this is actually a person who it would make sense would weigh in. He's actually been reluctant to weigh in, but in this case, he was asked about it in an interview with Deadline while promoting one of his new Netflix thingies. So, yeah, figured I'd go over it. So, this is from him after asked about weighing in on it. I've tried to avoid talking because anything I might say would feel like judgment. And he said, on all my sets, from Shield to Sons, we have had guns in almost every scene, but we've never had an incident. We've had a machine in place for props and safety. We've had some motorcycle spills, but never an incident with a weapon. That's because we followed the protocol, especially after what happened to Brandon Lee. That kicked a certain amount of safety protocols into gear. We hired competent prop people. We had actors who were smart, and there were also or always gun tests in front of cast and crew. There was always an announcement of hot gun on set, meaning that there was a sound load in it, and then everything else was always rubber. I don't know what went down on that set. My sense from listening to the information that's coming in, the letting go of a union crew and bringing in a non-union crew, that those safety protocols were not met. You didn't have people that either knew about them or thought they were important, right? Because experientially, they didn't know. I know, or now, whose fault is that? Is it the producer's fault? Is it the director's fault? I don't know where the blame lands. But to me, that's the whole, right? While it sounded like to him the problem wasn't the prevalence of hot guns on set as much as the inexperienced armorer and production cutting corners in a rush, Sutter said his future shows will conform to whatever reforms are put in place by unions and broadcasters. If ultimately rubber guns is the way to go and becomes the next level of safety, I completely understand, and let's do that because you can do so much with CG now, computer generation. I'll land on and support whatever the empirical data proves and whatever the unions decide, and I will wholly support that. But here's the deal, Mike. He's talking to the interviewer. I'm sure there have been accidents and near accidents on sets that or in the past that we've never heard of. So the fact that this happened in such a tragic and ultimately, and rightfully so, in a very public way, I don't think that happens in a vacuum, right? So perhaps we need to take this as a signal in terms of let's reevaluate how we do things. Sutter said it needs to be taken as seriously as this COVID protocols, or as the COVID protocols that allowed the industry to resume. What was said, or what happened an isolated incident? Maybe, maybe not. I don't think we can take that risk. So whatever the decision is, I think the point, is let's look at shit and reevaluate how we do things so that these circumstances can't manifest into the perfect storm that creates this bizarre, tragic incident. So, as for finding where the live rounds on Rust set, or as for the finding there were rounds on Rust's set, Sutter said, as soon as an actor finishes a scene, a prop master comes, take the knife, the gun, and puts it in a box in their weapons bin, and puts a lid on it, and puts it in the tray. If there's more scenes to do, that tray stays with the prop person. If not, Then they are taken into the prop house and they are stored until the next time they are used. An actor never walks around with any kind of weapon, even if it's a rubber gun. Interesting. That's the first thing they take. And that's what I saw happen on S.H.I.E.L.D. And that's what happened of all my shows. And the live rounds that led to the fatality, that's idiocy. He said, that is people who don't give a fuck, and yeah, that is that who don't give a fuck, and yeah, are using the weapons to shoot tin cans or shoot rats, and that behavior. I don't know where that comes from. Maybe those were some non-union folks that came in, but that, to me, when I heard that, I associated it with what happened with Brandon Lee, which even though that was obviously a tragedy and lack of protocols were there, but that wasn't live ammo, but a piece of a shell, a malfunction. As I was thinking, how did the Rust tragedy happen and create that kind of devastation? The fact that it was live ammo never even entered my mind, he says, until it came out in the press. I couldn't even wrap my brain around the fact that there was live ammo in the vicinity of a set, right? That's just negligence. People not paying attention or not having people who know what the protocol is and aren't checking. That creates the perfect storm. Whatever the potential danger is, you have to have those protocols around. And it always has to be about how do we keep everybody safe. Look, we've seen the tragedy that comes with, fuck it, just get the shot. But we've seen the tragedy of that attitude time and time and time again. It's great to get the shot, but it's not about the shot. It's about the filmmaking experience and about the production. Maybe I'm oversensitive to it because of the world I live in, and if it is a violent world, but you have to be hyper vigilant about putting the safety first, and that can never be a fucking corner you cut. These are direct quotes. He's using the F word. Sutter's abandons deal was brokered by WME and attorney Michael Gendler. And that's all he has to say. So, yeah, he basically is saying that the entire situation with the Alec Baldwin Rust set shooting, there was indeed some very stupid things going on. And the fact that there was a live round on a movie set is an unthinkable tragedy. So it makes you wonder, folks, what happened on that set? I know that as I reported earlier, that they know, or the district attorney and them know who loaded the weapon, but they are not releasing that information. I know that Alec Baldwin has hired some big shot attorney to answer the lawsuits against him. I know that the armorer, Hannah Gutierrez Reed, is not an experienced armorer, contrary to saying she was trained by her father from a very young age. Judging by how she always took those selfies with the guns, how it was on her shoulder, how crossed like this, that speaks more to vanity than safety. When it comes to how the assistant director has been fired from a previous job because of his negligence and his similar actions like this, because of Alec Baldwin choosing to pull the hammer back on a single action revolver, meaning you have to pull it back in order to pull the trigger and get the shot. He chose to do that when the scenes didn't call for that, nor did the rehearsal. So yeah, all of this goes into this. And I think that Kurt Sutter, he has a very good insight into how things are done because he had to follow those protocols and he followed them to the letter. Maybe if the production that Alec Baldwin was doing had followed these protocols, Halyna Hutchins would still be alive. There wouldn't, or Joel Souza would not have been injured. Anyway, folks, that's going to be the video. You all know the drill. Like, comment, subscribe, share, all that jazz. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below, folks. What do you think of this report from Kurt Sutter? Do you think he has a point? And what do you think of all of this stuff that you have heard in this video? Let me know all of it, folks. This has been Orange Hat Reviews. Stay humble.